All right, what is going on, friends? Sean Dodd coming back with a technical analysis. Here we have John Dahlin, back for technically his fourth technical analysis of the season. But good news is he signed up for the throws programming, so I get to work with him more closely, one-on-one. He can send me video whenever he would like, and then I will also write him up a throwing program to follow the next month and prescribe drills to help him out, fix his problems. It's really kind of the best way to go about it, if you ask me. These technical analyses are helpful. But when you can really tackle your issues head on with specific drills, specific cues, and constant feedback, it's really the way to do it. So the off season is approaching quickly for a lot of people. I know NCAA Division One, they have their championships, I think, like next week or the week after. But NCAA D2 and D3 are done. So it's the off season. If you want to make big technical gains this summer to drop some PRs next season, now is the time to sign up. So go to my website, gripperrip.co, sign up for a throws program, sign up for the complete program, throws and lifting, sign up for an in-depth technical analysis, whatever it is, now's the time to do it. So please go check out my website, gripperrip.co. So let's take a look at John's throw. John's a master's athlete. He is 42, and he's still throwing the 16-pound hammer, which makes everything that he does even more impressive, because I don't know, I have not the best knowledge of masters throwing, and I know some throw the 6K and the 5K, but the fact that John's still throwing the 16, and this was a recent, I guess you could call it PB, age group PB, with the 16-pound hammer, 54.91. Very impressive, very impressive. And he still throws the 35-pound weight in competition as well. Also, this video is going to be a twofer. We're going to look at his hammer throw and also his discus that he sent me. We're going to take a quick look at that. So, special video today. But one more look. Now that I'm done talking, I can actually observe what is going on in his throw. With the previous technical analyses, this is going to be a pretty quick one, I think. We're going to just kind of touch on some points and see how things have improved or not improved, the changes he's made since the last time I did analysis, which I think was probably just about a month ago. And your feet are cut off, not a huge issue, just because of the camera frame. But yeah, so I think in the last video, goal was to get you to open up more, not let the hands come as left in the winds, and I think the left leg was the big issue in single support, kind of killing your momentum forwards. So looking at the winds, first wind, pretty good, hands, out away from the body, pretty decent, a little bit ahead of it, kind of bringing the hands right to left a little bit, but you can see that kind of as the hands get to about 0, you start to think about opening up and turning back, and then as the ball comes through 0, you are actually turning back and reaching back behind you. So the first wind's pretty good, and then you can still see hands long out away from the body, very good. And then as you go into the second turn, we'll see what happens. In the second wind, you see the hands out away from the body, hands up in the shoulder height area, very good. Ball up and out and away from the body. Same thing as the ball crosses 0, hands cross 0. Still coming a little bit too left with the hands. I think I'd like to see, you can maybe even think about like as the ball comes through 270, like right through here, you want to kind of chill out the body, the shoulders, the torso. You let the hands continue to go through 0, but as the ball's coming through 270, you can kind of think about opening up and turning back and connecting at 270. So you're going to be a little bit more right-sided, facing the right side a little bit more in the winds. Might help connect a little bit earlier, because you can still see as you come through 0, you're pretty much square to 0. Hands kind of come left. You get this left elbow kind of coming a little bit high in front of the face. But it is better than the last video that I reviewed. But you open up and you try to connect pretty early. And you can see here your hands are up much better. Your right elbow is still kind of down. Kind of pulling down on things. Left arm's long across the body, balls up and out, and you can still kind of see that head and that left side kind of leading and setting things up, especially as you go through like this later portion of the entry. As the ball comes through 270, you can see your eyes are trying to peek towards that left side. You can see that tension coming across that left arm, through that left shoulder, and you're kind of guiding, leading, you're kind of tight with that left side as the ball goes through 0. And if we look at that right elbow more specifically, like I said, you can see it's kind of pulling down. And you can see you kind of sink down, sit back, but you just see that right elbow is kind of down a little bit. And then, as I said in the last video, your left hand's still kind of on top of everything, which means your left side's going to kind of be predisposed to leading the throw. So as I kind of said in the last video, think about turning your hands the other direction. Keep that right hand on top, perhaps. But like I said, I can prescribe some drills to help you fix that. We'll maybe do some right hand only turns. We'll see what happens. Maybe some left hand only turns. Maybe both. But decent entry, decent stability, a little bit better than the last video. But you can still kind of see as you go through, at the end of double support into single support, you can see a little bit of tension. See that left side's kind of on top, a little bit of tension in that right arm, a little tight. You can see it looks like it's a little bit bent right here. And then as we go into single support, we'll see how that left leg is doing for you. Not bad. Not quite as stiff as it was before. There's not really much rise up. There's a little bit. You are getting, if you look at your hips, your hips are getting pulled around the left side. So you catch. Your hips are a little bit too far back this way. They need to be more underneath you. You need to have a little bit more weight on this right side. Hips a little bit more underneath you, posture a little bit better. You can see the arms start to tighten up a little bit as well here. You can see it's like you're kind of grabbing, you're kind of pulling, you're creating tension with the arms in single support a little bit. But overall, the orbit and direction of the throw is not bad. You're getting that right foot, which once again you can't see because it's out of the camera frame. Is a little bit more in the direction of the sector than the left. Sorry, right foot's a little bit closer to the sector than the left foot. That's good. Catch through this second double support. And it's pretty solid, but once again, you can just see that right arm looks a little bit tight. Arms are a little bit tight. Elbows are kind of squeezed together. Not a bad thing, but just tension in the arms. Pretty good turning in double support. Pretty good stability through the left side. And it's pretty solid through double support. But once again, the left leg has always been the issue in the past. So let's see what happens. If you look at, and this is the benefit of getting to work with me one-on-one, is once again you can't see your left foot, but I'm curious to know what your ankle mobility is like, especially specifically in that left ankle. Looks like you kind of have an issue. Let's see, let me just move this down really quick, and hopefully that works. Now we can see your feet. But if we look at your left foot, you get to right about here, and then it looks like you are already on the side of the foot. So I wonder if you could pull that toe up a little bit more. Like I said, it kind of depends on ankle mobility and stability and strength in that left ankle. But pulling that left toe up a little bit more might help you get a little bit better direction. And then with that, like I said in previous videos, your left knee is pretty stiff. So you can see there's not much drop forwards. And once again, that could be ankle mobility, could be just knee mobility, hip flexibility, mobility, all that sort of stuff. But as we go through double support, the end of double support into single support, like I said, left leg's a little stiff, you're a little bit up. A little bit better here though. You still see the hips kind of get pulled around. And you catch decent balls in the direction of the sector. Good direction through the feet again. Go through double support. You can see you kind of you ground that left heel pretty well. Getting back against the hammer pretty well. A little bit of pulling, a little bit of left side leading. And same thing, that right side's kind of down. That right elbow's down in towards the body, kind of like underneath everything. Kind of clamping down a little bit. So you're having good tension, as I've said before in previous videos. Good tension in the body, just a little bit too much tension in the body, too much left side, not enough right side, not enough freedom, letting the ball do what it needs to do. So that left side's leading a little bit, but that lower body's turning with it pretty well. That right side's very connected going into this next turn. But then same sort of thing, that left knee, left ankle, might be something to work on, might be something to talk about. Going in this next turn, it's all right. Hips a little bit more underneath you now, ball deeper into the sector, that's good. More direction towards the sector with that right foot. Still landing a little flat-footed. Got to get you up on that ball, that foot a little bit more perhaps. As you go through double support, you can see the ball starts to rise on you a little bit here. Hands get a little high, kind of comes crashing down on you a little bit. Hands start to drop a little bit. And then as you go through this double support, you can see more of that left side tightness leading, kind of pulling. Tension in the arms, tension in the body. Right side's turning pretty well. Left side's still just ahead of it. A side view video would be very interesting to see. It might be easier to demonstrate what I mean by that left side leading or pulling the throw. And then as you go through this final single support, I believe, you can see just a little leading, pulling. Hands get a little steep once again. That left knee, left leg's pretty stiff still. And then you get a little wide on this catch, and you end up catching a little bit later. So there's definitely more in the tank just based on this last catch. You missed this last catch. It's a little late. You lose a little bit of the direction of the sector. And then from here, you can see you really pull that left side across. If we look at where the left side starts in double support, right about here, and then you see that left side really get pulled back as you go to finish the hammer. So it's a strong finish. Not the most efficient though. Like I said, it kind of comes back to the left leg. Your hip's getting pulled around the left in single support. So, but overall, pretty good looking throw. Like if we go back and just watch it full speed, like I like the development of the orbit. Pretty stable. You know, entry's pretty good. Low point's pretty good. Like I said, you do miss that last catch, though. You can see the orbit shift after that fourth catch, or going into the fourth catch. So, pretty decent hammer throw. Like I said, we'll have some things to talk about and work on with your program. And now, let's take a look at Discus. So, we're just going to glaze over this really quick because Discus is kind of a secondary thing for you, but I do want to touch on some things. Just take a look at it. Take a sip of water. Once again, you look like a pretty explosive guy. It's been interesting to see kind of the details of your training and your history through the little preparatory questionnaire that I sent you to fill out. Really makes it easier to program for you, get the finer details, customize things for you. So, yeah, more time, good. So let's break down the Discus. Big thing is in entry and then your right leg sweep. Those are kind of the two big things I see. So in the windup, right here, you can see you shift over that right side pretty well. You have pretty good tension separation through the upper and lower body. Pretty good windup. And then as you enter, you can see your body only really kind of, like your center of mass kind of only really gets in between your feet. You never really get out over that left side a little bit. You see it's kind of similar to hammer in a little bit of a way, but not quite. But you do need to think about in this windup. So like I said, you shift over the right, and then when you unwind, you want to shift that weight over that left foot, all right? Like I said, you only get to, I would guess your center of mass is somewhere in between your feet. You got to get out over the left more, so you can think about reaching more over that left with the hand. You can think about driving that left hip more out over the toe. But you just got to shift that weight over that left side, that left foot a little bit more. Get out left in the entry. And then from there, the other big thing that I see is that right leg is just very tight, very short, bent knee, bent right leg. So that right leg sweep isn't really the most efficient. Like you're driving to the middle with that right knee, but the length of the sweep is so short just because the leg is so short and tight to the body. You can see in this position, ideally you'd see this right leg outstretched, like kind of like out in this direction. And then once again, that kind of goes hand in hand with like the more you get left in entry, the wider that right leg sweep is going to be around. You're going to have more time, you're going to need more patience to get to the middle, which is good. More time applying force to the discus means more time to apply force to the discus, if that makes sense. I just feel like I'm getting really repetitive. But yeah, short right leg sweep, you kind of bring it up instead of like kind of straight across sprinting through the circle. So longer right leg sweep, more out left in the entry, and then as you get to the middle, you can see, looks like your chest is a little bit forwards, a little heavy on the right side. And even as you go to land, it looks like you're a little back too heavy on the right side. And then you land, that right foot or left foot comes down, and then you can see your chest is kind of forwards, posture's not the best. And then because you're strong enough and explosive enough, you can kind of work out of this position, but you can see you very much jump into the finish. You can see the extension coming through the legs and the hips. Instead of like it's continuing the rotation, you're kind of stopping the rotation and jumping upwards and really putting a lot of upward force into the discus, which I wonder how your disc release looks on average. This looks like it's pretty good, pretty decent flight, but you're just jumping a lot at the finish. Kind of Mac Wilkins-esque, I suppose. Not a bad thing. Mac Wilkins is a great thrower, but you know, I just don't know if he's the best technical model for everybody. I don't even know if you subscribe to that. But jumping at the finish, I'm not a huge fan of that. I'd rather see you transfer your weight from right side to left side and finish more out on the discus. Looks like you're just jumping up, kind of pulling the discus through instead of really staying grounded and working a little bit longer, because you can see your feet come off the ground and the disc is still in your hand for a few frames. So missing some free force there, I suppose you could say. So, but yeah, one more run through. Super easy fixes. Get out over the left, wider right leg sweep, and just more patience through the middle, maybe a little bit better posture. I said, because what goes up here must come down there, and you can see your hips kind of sink down. That's losing force, and then you kind of jump up again. So pretty close, should be an easy fix. With it being secondary, it's not as big of an issue, but yeah, hammer's kind of the big thing either way. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, John. Like I said, we'll be working more closely one-on-one, so we can have more conversations about all this stuff. And yeah, if anybody else out there wants this same treatment, go to my website, sign up for the throws programming, and let's get to work this off season. All right, let's make some big technical strides. So gripandrip.co is my website. If you have any questions, go to the contact form, submit some questions, or hit me up on Instagram at SDThrows, and I'd be happy to help. All right, so thank you for watching. Until next time, Sean Don signing off. See ya.